Some people enter your life wearing the face of gratitude, but hiding something much darker underneath. I was 34 years old when I made the decision that I believed would change everything, not just for me, but for my entire family. I had worked double shifts for 2 years. I had skipped vacations, worn the same coat for 3 winters, and quietly sacrificed things I never even told my husband about. All of it, every single rupee, every sleepless night, was saved for one reason: to help her. My mother-in-law, Aunt Razia, had been living in a rented room at the edge of the city. The roof leaked when it rained. The floors were cracked. She cooked on a small stove that barely worked. When my husband and I visited her that first time after our wedding, I cried the whole drive home. Not because I was asked to help, but because no one should live that way, especially not someone's mother. So I decided. I told my husband, Tarek, that we were going to renovate her home. New flooring, a proper kitchen, a fixed roof, a bathroom with real plumbing. He looked at me like I had just offered him the whole world. He held my face in his hands and said, "You are the most generous woman I have ever known." I wasn't doing it for praise. I was doing it because it felt right. The renovation took 4 months. I managed every detail: the contractors, the materials, the payments. Aunt Razia would call me sometimes, saying things like, "Beta, you are like my own daughter." She would send me blessings over the phone. She told me I was the reason she could sleep peacefully at night. I believed every word. The day the renovation was completed, we all went together, Tarek, myself, and a few family members, to see the finished home. Aunt Razia walked through every room with tears in her eyes. She touched the new walls. She ran her hand across the kitchen counter. She stood in the bathroom and whispered something under her breath that I couldn't hear. I thought she was praying for us. I thought that was the beginning of something beautiful between us. But what I didn't know that day was that some hearts cannot be softened by kindness. Some people mistake your generosity for weakness. And some words, once spoken, can never be taken back, no matter how many tears are shed afterward. I was still smiling on the drive home, still feeling that warm glow in my chest. I had no idea what she had already started saying about me the moment we turned our backs.
It started with a phone call I was never supposed to receive. 3 weeks after the renovation, my husband's cousin, a quiet woman named Sana, who had always been kind to me, called me one afternoon while Tariq was at work. Her voice was hesitant. She asked me twice if I was sitting down. I laughed. "Just tell me, Sana, what is it?" There was a long pause, and then she told me. Aunt Razia had been talking, not to one person, to many, to neighbors, to extended family members, to women at the local masjid who barely knew my name. And what she was saying about me, I had to ask Sana to repeat it, because the first time I genuinely could not process the words. She was telling people that I had only renovated her home to control her son, that I was a manipulative woman who used money to buy loyalty. She told them I was cold, calculating, and that Tariq had confided in her that he was unhappy in our marriage. She painted me as a woman who smiled to your face and plotted behind your back. She called me fake. She said the renovation was nothing more than a performance, that I did it to look good in front of the family, not out of love. I sat on the floor of my kitchen after that phone call, and I didn't move for a very long time. I had given that woman everything I had. I had stretched our budget to its breaking point. I had argued with contractors on her behalf, chosen tiles I thought she would love, made sure her bedroom got the best natural light. I had done all of it while she smiled at me and called me daughter. And behind my back, she had been dismantling me piece by piece. The pain that settled in my chest that day was unlike anything I had felt before. It wasn't just betrayal. It was the specific agony of realizing that someone had looked at your open heart and chosen to wound it anyway. I cried for 3 days. I didn't tell Tariq. I didn't know how to. I kept cooking his meals and folding his clothes and smiling at him across the dinner table, all while carrying this enormous, silent weight. But somewhere in the middle of those 3 days, something shifted. The tears didn't stop, but beneath them, something stronger began to rise, a quiet, steady kind of clarity that I had never felt before. I realized that I had 2 choices. I could collapse under the weight of her words, or I could stand up, face the truth, and let the truth speak for itself. I chose to stand.
I didn't plan my response. I didn't rehearse a speech or gather allies. I simply told my husband the truth. One evening, I sat Tariq down and placed my phone in front of him. I had asked Sana, with her permission, to send me a voice message recounting exactly what she had told me, every word, every claim his mother had made. Tariq listened to it twice. I watched his face change. The color drained from it slowly, like water leaving a glass. When it finished, he didn't speak for almost 5 minutes. Then he looked at me, really looked at me, and said, "I am so sorry. I had no idea." He called his mother that same night. I didn't ask him to. I didn't even stay in the room. But I heard his voice through the door, steady, firm, and deeply hurt. He asked her directly. She denied it at first. Then, when he named the specific people she had spoken to, the silence on the other end of the line said everything. She didn't apologize to me directly. People like her rarely do. But the family who had heard her whispers soon learned the truth, not through drama or confrontation, but because Tariq told them quietly, one by one, what had actually happened, what his wife had actually sacrificed, what his mother had actually said. One by one, the narrative she had built began to fall apart. And slowly, without any performance on my part, the truth became the loudest voice in the room. Aunt Razia still lives in the home I renovated. I have never asked for it back. I never will, because I didn't do it for her gratitude. I did it because I believed in kindness, and no amount of betrayal can make me regret being kind. But I did something for myself that year that I had never done before. I learned to protect my peace. I learned that generosity given to an ungrateful heart is not wasted, but it is also not an invitation to keep giving. I learned that silence in the face of injustice is not always strength. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is simply tell the truth and let it stand. Tariq and I grew closer after that, not because we fought together against her, but because we finally saw each other fully without secrets between us. And me? I stopped wearing that same coat. I bought myself a new one the following winter. I had earned it. If someone has ever made you feel small for being too kind, remember this. Your goodness is not your weakness. It is your greatest strength. And the truth always finds its way to the surface. Always.